So we've got the ridge line fairly well defined, and now look at this.
There, whoa,
There it
whoa.
is. Go back, go back, go back.
What is that?
From the discovery of an obstacle that threatened to bring an end to all experiments, to a series of experiments which confirm the truth behind the ancient lore of tribes in America, here's how the Skinwalker attorney revealed shocking secrets with high-speed cameras. In recent times, the team had been performing several experiments so that they could get to the bottom of the strange affairs taking place on Skinwalker Ranch. You know Skinwalker Ranch, the 512-acre of land that is located in the Uinta Basin in Utah that is also known as UFO Ranch. There, too many people have reported strange and unusual events, such as the spotting of strange UFOs and other paranormal events that demand explanation. That is why the likes of Travis S. Taylor, the American scientist, and his team have sworn to give their all to find out what exactly has been going on there. This has been the main mission of those working on the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch TV show, a TV show that is broadcast by the Discovery Channel, so that the world can witness as these great minds get to the bottom of the amazing mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch. 4 seasons into the show, the team has wowed the world with their top-of-the-range techniques and equipment that they hope would help them get to the bottom of the mysteries concerning Skinwalker Ranch. Mysteries such as the presence of the UFOs that we mentioned, and the strange mutilated carcasses of cattle that seem to pop up on the ranch all the time.
16 unexplained cattle mutilations have been documented since 1996.
Some blame the presence of the bodies of these poor creatures on the UFOs, while others blame them on the mythical creatures known as skinwalkers. The Navajo tribe of old believed in the existence of these evil shape-shifting witches and their presence on the ranch, that the place was even named after the wretched skinwalkers. Whoever or whatever may be the cause of these deaths, we trust that Travis S. Taylor and his men will be able to get to the bottom of these pressing mysteries. Perhaps that is why they've been using things such as state-of-the-art drilling devices or weather balloons to see if they can trace or trigger any of these strange beings on the ranch. Now they have to find out why this is the epicenter of bizarre UFO sightings and unusual energies that have taken a toll on the human presence in the area. They will have to pick up the slack from even the federal government of the United States of America, who tried and failed to get to the bottom of the mystery that has affected its people for decades, if not centuries. What have these guys come across with their cutting-edge technology? At some point in time, the team decided to take a look at what may be going on at the Mesa drill site, a site that they had previously dug into so that they could see why some of the stranger events of the ranch seemed to take place there. Together with Thomas Winterton, the supervisor of the ranch, the team was eager to progress with the hole they had already dug into the mesa. However, they also had to come to terms that this progress has not been easy because of the obstacles that they came across while performing this drilling exercise. For example, they had to find a way to overcome the problem of the obstacle that was stopping them from drilling past 25 feet into the mesa.
And we hit something hard, really started chattering, and then around 25 feet, it locked up and the engine went dead.
Unfortunately, they couldn't move on despite the mesa being one of the most active places on the ranch when it came to experiencing paranormal activity there.
The drill has encountered a hard object that it cannot penetrate.
Unfortunately for them, they had to find a solution to the problem with the drill, as its engine had been destroyed during the effort to dig the hole into the mesa. This must have been a pain to the likes of Joe Loeb, the drill operator, who'd been working like a dog so that he could help the team make some progress with their work out on the ranch by drilling down to the mesa so that they could get to a 125-foot-tall metallic anomaly that was detected during a ground-penetrating radar scan that was carried out earlier in the year. Maybe they would have been able to move on if there wasn't another 400-foot-long metallic anomaly that was detected in the area. This captured their imaginations because not only was this metallic anomaly shaped like a dome, it seemed to be impenetrable to whatever they used during not 1 but 2 drilling exercises. That was despite 8,000 pounds of pressure that came from the drill.
8,000 pounds of push, and it wasn't budging.
That's a lot of pressure. What could be hard enough to be pushing back on that?
Well, they're going to have to find a way to overcome this issue because after some analysis of the shavings of this anomaly, they found that the material that made up these massive obstacles seemed to be made up of the same materials that NASA uses to make its space shuttles.
The metallic fragments that came out of the spoils were scientifically proven to be composed of similar materials that NASA uses to cover the surface of our own spacecraft.
That moon landing is looking more and more suspicious by the moment. Well, they were at a crossroads because Loeb's drill has been put to sleep despite having a brand new motor. What could this thing be? What could it be made of? In order to get some answers, the team decided to extract the drill bit so that they could take a look at it. Maybe this could help them know exactly what they were dealing with down there. What were they hitting there? Why couldn't they penetrate this object? Well, extracting the drill will tell them all that they need to know. Or will it? To their surprise, the team found out that the drill bit seemed to be in perfect condition.
Perfectly intact. It's not missing a single tooth.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's in perfect condition.
Hold on. I thought they said that they had been using about 8,000 pounds of pressure to try to break through the impenetrable anomalies hiding within the mesa. Ordinarily, the pressure alone should have caused some wear and tear to the drill. At the very least, it should have given out an extreme amount of heat. As such, the fact that the drill bit was extracted without showing any signs of deterioration, without any broken teeth or any other damage, drove the team crazy because they couldn't understand why their drill was in perfect condition, despite trying so hard to drill through this obstruction in the mesa. Unfortunately, they had run out of time, so they were going to have to return when they had the equipment to deal with these anomalies. Travis is especially infuriated by the fact that they had to leave without finding out what the anomalies are, why they were so resistant to drilling machines, and why such an anomaly contained materials that were related to those used on spacecraft. Unfortunately, despite such frustrations, Travis and the team are going to have to accept defeat until they can rally with bigger and better devices that would help them get to the bottom of the mystery of the mesa. It just might hold the answers to the many questions concerning what was going on in Skinwalker Ranch. As a result, the team decided to turn their attention to the East Field, another point of interest on Skinwalker Ranch. There, they met with Burdett Anderson, the high-speed camera expert who was adept at using photron cameras. Sounds pretty cool to me. Anderson was there to help them with an experiment that the team was hoping to perform out in the East Field. This is because the team had witnessed the presence of some aerial anomalies in the area over the last 3 years or so, in which they've been trying to get to the bottom of the mysteries taking place on Skinwalker Ranch. This seemed to be taking place close to an ancient megalithic spiral of boulders in the area, as well as a petroglyph that seemed to display the stars in the sky and a serpent that the experts believed to represent portals. The mere mention of portals must be triggering to those hoping to find the answers to the mystery of Skinwalker Ranch, and those watching with keen interest at home because they know that the team suspects that the UFOs that have been zipping in and out of the ranch may be using portals to jump through dimensions. Apparently, in this context, snakes represent guardians, and it appears that these guardians may be protecting two different worlds. Don't tell that to those that follow the Abrahamic faiths. You might be up for one hell of a discussion. As incredible as this may sound, it can't even hold a candle to the column-shaped anomaly that was detected in the same East Field thanks to the use of photogrammetry. As if that wasn't wild enough, they had also come across something hanging about 300 feet into the air thanks to performance of a LiDAR scan earlier that year. What's even stranger was that this other structure seemed to match up with the top of the column-shaped phenomenon that they had found. Well, brace yourself, guys, because it was also in and around this spot that the team witnessed as their helicopter was unexplainably pushed around by some unknown force. Yep, they had to carry out some investigations and experiments in the East Field. There is no doubt about that at all. It didn't go unnoticed that these were some huge structures. After all, the first one was compared to a 10-story building at some point in time. Well, they may have some answers as to how such structures made their way to the East Field, because some time ago, Jeremiah Pate, the CEO of a high-tech company known as Lunasend, had performed a radar scan which revealed evidence of portals in the area. As you can imagine, the team must be buzzing to confirm if their portal theory is actually true. As a result, they've taken Burdett Anderson out to the East Field where they had witnessed several of these interesting anomalies. Together with Burdett Anderson, the team was driven to play some acoustic sounds while they used his high-speed cameras to see if they'd notice anything strange and unusual in the area as they conducted such an experiment. Exciting, no? The thought is that if they produce a noise with a certain frequency, They believe that there's a chance that they may trigger a reaction from something that may be loitering out there with them. This is born from the belief that certain frequencies can open portals to certain dimensions. You may just have to get the frequency right. At least that were the assertions of Navajo Ranger John Dover a few years ago, when he took them to the area to give them an explanation as to some of the strange things that took place in the East Field back in 2021. He also explained to them that back in ancient times, his people, along with other indigenous Native American tribes, believed that certain sound frequencies could truly open up gateways to other dimensions. Incredible. Think of all the possibilities. For example, this may be our answer to space travel or even interdimensional travel. After all, John Dover himself could be able to tell us about stories in which some of these UAPs got into the mesa in the past, and if they can do it, there may be a possibility that we may be able to replicate such a phenomenon. That said, Travis takes things further by stating that the concept of sound, or certain sound frequencies, and their abilities to open certain doorways into different dimensions isn't only exclusive to the Native American culture, as other religious groups have also attested to similar phenomena in their scripture. Perhaps think about how the rapture will be triggered by a trumpet at the end of days. While Travis himself cannot confirm if this is true, he can tell us that there is quite a bit of lore when it comes to this subject matter. Well, thankfully they have the time and resources to put such a concept to the test. Hopefully, shooting out some of these frequencies later on will help them get the answers that they and the rest of the world is so desperate for. Interestingly, Travis also planned on launching some rockets into the air just so that he can shake things up by probing into the area. I wonder what he's going to find when he and the team decide to carry out this experiment. Hopefully, their high-speed cameras will help them detect and record any anomalies that pop up during their experiment. This must have been fascinating for the scientists on the team, such as Eric, as well as those scientists back at home, because these experiments appeared to be taking on several aspects of physics at the same time. First, they were dealing with the acoustic sides of the field with their interdimensional opening audio, then they're looking at light and speed. They were even looking at the RF spectrum as well. What a time to be alive. How will these things even correlate? Well, hold on to your britches, guys, because we're about to find out. Soon, the team began to put their equipment together as they prepared for the nighttime experiments. First, they set up the tone generator so that they can broadcast a range of acoustic frequencies that may trigger an opening in one or several of these interdimensional portals.
For our experiment, Eric is going to be broadcasting a range of individual tones at various frequencies.
Then they were going to set up a spectrum analyzer so that they could pick up any RF radiation that emerges from their experiments or otherwise. Elsewhere, Burdett Anderson was getting ready with his high-speed cameras, which could record more than 2,000 images per second. That way, the chances of them missing any anomalies will be narrowed to almost zero. There was no way on Earth they were going to miss the chance to record any portal openings or the UFOs that may emerge from them. Following the setting up exercise, the team moved on to the next phase of the plan: the execution of the sound frequency pitches and the launching of the rockets, while the high-speed cameras are recording everything. Looks like it's go time. Once they were ready to go, Eric launched the sound while the others launched the rockets that were heading straight up to the anomalies. Well, it looks like they were going to get what they asked for, because barely seconds after the rocket broke through the anomaly, Burdett reported that he had noticed something strange with his cameras. What could this actually be? Could this be a bird? A plane? No, wait. Superman? Well, although they couldn't tell exactly what they were saying, they knew that they couldn't deny that they could see something getting past as the rocket raced through the air. What on earth could that actually be? Just take a look at this thing. Upon some calculation, the team realized that not only is this thing strange, it's truly a rapid UFO. They came to this conclusion when they realized that it had been following the rocket by traveling for about half a mile in a little more than a second. Usain Bolt wishes he could. Lord have mercy, a bird would need a jetpack to travel that fast. Travis himself felt that he had to let us know that this was the fastest moving object that was ever recorded in the show's history. Apparently, all this happened just 6 seconds after the launch, and the fascinating event had only lasted for about a second. Incredible. That is 3,600 miles per hour. What on earth could that be? Definitely not something of this earth. As fascinating as this unbelievable speed may be to the team, Tony is quick to point out another interesting fact about what they just saw. Despite moving at such an alarming speed, the team could neither hear the force being exerted by the unidentified aerial phenomenon, nor did they see any form of a wake behind it. For those who don't know what this means, it tells the team that this unidentified flying object may also be frictionless. This may not mean much to those who are just getting this information, but for people like Travis, who have been investigating this matter for some time now, it reminded him of the so-called Tic Tac that was recorded nearly 20 years ago in 2004 by the U.S. Navy. Apart from the fact that this Tic Tac seemed to be rotating, it seemed to share similar features with our UAP, such as the fact that it seemed to have no physical exhaust or wake as well. Furthermore, it seemed to be rapid as it appeared and disappeared within moments as well. Lastly, it must have been such an interesting find to those in the U.S. Navy, because it also seemed to be protected by a force field. This must have been quite an exciting discovery for the team in its own right. However, Travis makes them think a bit deeper about the matter because he made them realize that they had also spotted something that may be frictionless or may be covered by a force field in recent times. In case you haven't guessed it, he was also talking about strange anomalies in the mesas. He figured that they weren't able to drill into the metallic anomalies because they may either be frictionless or they may be protected by a force field as well. How else can you explain that you drilled something with 8,000 pounds of pressure, and not only did the bit not experience even the slightest rise in temperature, but it also did not suffer any damage whatsoever? The anomaly has got to be frictionless or covered in a force field. At least that is the working theory. Amazingly enough, this also reminded them of another strange incident that they had witnessed, a deceased cow that had something strange above it. Although the circumstances didn't allow them to accurately come to a conclusion that they may have been satisfied with, they were able to notice that this strange object was also rapid as well. Heck, it even moved at a similar speed. Returning to the present, the team decided to take inventory about what they had just witnessed. Their experiment with the tone generator, the spectrum analyzer, the rockets, and the high-speed cameras, the team were of the opinion that somehow the UFO had indeed been triggered by the sound and the rockets. Ever the scientists, the team began to think along the line of precision. Which of these items actually triggered the UFO, the sound or the rocket? As such, the team was keen to try a sound experiment to see if that was enough to trigger their mysterious UFOs. Later, the team set up for their purely sound experiment so that they can finally find out what stimulates their interdimensional visitor. The plan was to release a set of individual frequencies to see which one the UAP may react to. Seems simple enough, right? Before long, the team launched these frequencies one by one so that they'd know which one the UFO would react to. Before long, they were excited when the UFO popped up at the launch of a 192 Hz frequency sound. How fascinating. This was in accordance with John Dover's assertions that frequencies are said to open the portals that these UFOs use to pop in and out of our world. Maybe they can use this frequency to see what else they can learn about this captivating 512 acre of land that is Skinwalker Ranch. We know we are all waiting to hear the fascinating truth about this mysterious ranch. From the discovery of an obstacle that threatened to bring an end to all experiments to a series of experiments which confirm the truth behind the ancient lore of tribes in America, here's how the Skinwalker attorney revealed shocking secrets with high-speed cameras.